What calibers are going to survive? We got a bunch of new calibers lately. Who's going to make it? Who's not? Let's get into it. Welcome back to Bullets and Brass. I am Remy. Today we're talking about what new rifle calibers are going to survive to not just be available, but flourish. What ones are going to really succeed as opposed to just still be available? And there have been a bunch of them lately, right? I mean, the last decade, maybe even 20 years, we've seen a huge number of new ones. And really, I'm going to focus on mostly new, like last 5 or 6 years. But, you know, something sneaks in that's a little older, bite me. Now, I am not making a judgment call on their quality, their performance. This is literally just my guesstimation, speculation on who is going to commercially succeed and who is going to become a footnote. For example, 6mm Remington, successful? Not really. You can still get ammo though. It's still out there. First, we're going to talk about the 6mm. 6mm Creedmoor, Dasher, Arc, 224 Valkyrie. Now I realize it's not a 6mm, but work with me here. They're all meant to do the same job. They're all meant to be a high velocity, relatively short action, meaning some of them are fitting in an AR-15, some of them do require a larger gun, but they're meant to be long range, flat shooting rounds. So the question is, which ones are really going to succeed? Which ones are going to be the next 300 Blackout, right? Because 6.5 Grendel didn't do it. It's popular, but didn't quite, get up there, right? My guess is 6mm Arc. I think that fits easily in an AR-15. Yes, you do have to use 6.5 Grendel magazines and bolt carrier group, but at this day and age, that's an easy thing to do, and you have a round that drastically improves on 5.56 and is supported by a couple major names, may or may not have the same licensing issues and compatibility issues. A lot of people get very confused about the issues surrounding 6.5 Grendel. 6mm Arc has none of that. You buy it, you buy the gun, you go shoot it, no bullshit. Commercially, I think it will be very successful. The other ones, yeah, I mean, you'll still be able to get ammo for most of them, but And I put 22 Nosler in the same category. I don't think these are calibers that are going to succeed long term. They are the new hotness, and then they're gonna fade off into the sunset. 350 Legend is one of the other ones that doesn't really fit into any particular niche, but I think it's going to continue succeeding. It defied a lot of people's expectations by doing well, even in states where it's not legally justified, I guess would be the right word, like when it doesn't fill a legal requirement for hunting, which was the intended function, right? But it works really well. It fills that niche really well. And a lot of people looked at it and went, I don't need what these other calibers offer. I need a short range hog and deer gun that is economical, practical, reliable, and fits in my freaking AR-15. There you go. Job done, right? Let's move on. We're going to the big stuff. Not massive. We're not going to get into any of the really big stuff, and we're also skipping the rest of the PRS-oriented rounds. I'm just skipping them entirely. None of that stuff is going to survive. None of it. It's all designed to be the new hotness, and there will be a new hotness. And once it comes out and once it gets some attention, the old hotness will go away. That's how those cartridges work, such is life. They're not expecting long-term commercial success. So you have things like 27 Nosler, 6.8 Western, 6.5 BC, 6.5 Weatherby RPM. These are all rounds designed to replace 270 Winchester Short Magnum, 300 Winchester Short Magnum, even 300 Win Mag. They're designed for big game hunting out west where you have long shots on large animals or very tough animals. Modern rounds do those jobs better than the older rounds. Even if by better, it isn't the numbers on paper for the actual cartridge, but it's the fact that the cartridge fits in a smaller and lighter rifle. That's not insignificant when you're carrying the rifle up and down a mountain for a week to take one shot. Here's the catch. The number of those rifles actually sold, the number of people interested in a new rifle in that category is not huge. it's a relatively modest number of rifles compared to something like an AR-15. Are any of them going to succeed? I don't know. I think that we're seeing the revolution of, hey, these old rounds, while they're great and we love them and they've worked for generations, they're as much as 100 years old. Things have changed. We can do better. But I'm not sure that any of these are going to be the final commercially successful one. I think that if any of them are going to be in that category, it's going to be 6.8 Western and 6.5 Weatherby. Short version, I don't think any of them is really going to be the next 270. I think that they are just leading that front, that wave front, and that something else will come along that really captures the market's attention. Could be this year, could be next year, could be the year after, could be 5 years from now, but I think it's coming. The last round we're going to talk about is 8.6 Blackout. This is, if you're not aware, what happens when 300 Blackout goes on steroids. It is essentially meant to be an AR-10 size 300 Blackout. 338 bullet, very fast twist, meant to be shot subsonic, suppressed, short barrels, and absolutely be devastating on deer, hogs, even elk, okay? Like, it is a very powerful round for the size rifle you're putting it in, and the fact that it is designed to be subsonic suppressed. But we're seeing a legal situation where pistol braces are kind of questionable. Are we going to be able to do this without a tax stamp? What's going on, right? Part of the beauty of 8.6 Blackout is the short size. You can take an AR-10 with a short barrel, a pistol brace, and get in and out of your UTV, get in and out of your truck. You know, you can go hog hunting in tight quarters with a suppressed rifle where your total length is still very manageable. It isn't, you haven't made it so ungainly that you're taking the suppressor off before you get in the vehicle. You don't have to fiddle with that. The whole thing is still, your total length may be a 16-inch barrel, right? Between the suppressor and the barrel. That's a very optimal thing. A lot of hunters that I know, not magazine people, not YouTube celebrities, but real people hunting in normal environments. There are people who go out every couple of days on their own ranch. That's what they're looking for. There's a reason a lot of these guys are still carrying a 30-30 because they've got a little 18-inch barrel, 30-30 lever gun, and it works. But they'd really rather be carrying a semi-auto, and they would really rather a lot more power, and they would really like it to be conveniently suppressed, but they don't want it to get any bigger. They don't want it bigger. They don't care about the weight nearly as much as they care about the length. These guys are not carrying these around all day. They're leaving it on an ATV, they're leaving it in the UTV, they're leaving it in the truck, and they're driving around doing chores. Essentially, you're doing fence, you're filling up water, you're checking on pumps, you are checking feed, like you're doing ranch work. But hey, there's some hogs. Let's take care of that, right? It's the rifle for the job, and it works really well. But if you can't have it in that shorter package, I'm not sure how successful it will be. There are other options out there. But that is it. Take care, have fun, stay safe, keep shooting, get some training, and yeah, vote.